Hey, Omni Dogs and Omni Kittens. It's Omni Dog with Omni Dog's Vault here for more comic reviews. Not root beer reviews because I'm not drinking sugar right now, so I'm actually not drinking anything. But I normally drink iced coffee, but it's late at night where I am and I don't feel like I should drink coffee. So there's my explanation why I don't have root beer and or coffee. So you just get me. I'm sorry I can't review coffee. That'd be a good channel though. What we're going to talk about today are some trade paperbacks I just got done reading, and suffice to say, I picked some winners. They're really good, and they're pretty much very affordable because some of them are from Image, and Image first issue trade paperbacks are only $10, and even cheaper if you get them from in stock trades or if you are overseas, Book Depository or Amazon or wherever you get them. But the first book we're going to talk about, excuse me, is called Coyotes from Image at only $10. And this is a beautiful book. First of all, we can check out the art, and you can see that it's very well rendered in a unique style. I liked it a lot. It's even got some great tones going on in it. When it talks about Officer Coffee's life, this involves an officer who is assigned to a border town down south because he's investigating the deaths of women and children who are being attacked by werewolves. Now, it's not just a werewolf story. This story features strong female protagonists, which you know I like, and it features them taking names and kicking ass. And they're all out of names or something. But the women take matters into their own hands and decide they've had enough of these werewolves, and it falls to the into the hands of a 13-year-old girl who is the baddest of all badasses, and she is the one that takes control of the situation and hunts down with the officer the cause of all these werewolves. Obviously, they're not naturally occurring. They come from one werewolf, and an evil corporation is exploiting that to create weapons. They're trying to weaponize werewolves, and in so doing, their experimental ground is this border town. It takes a little witchcraft, it takes a little gumption, it takes a little ass kicking by women to get to the bottom of this. But let me tell you, this story is well written. It's exciting. It's a new take as far as I'm concerned. I haven't seen it before on werewolves, what they create, the terror they can create, and how people can fight back. It is really well told, really well done. I highly enjoyed this this trade paperback. As far as I know, nothing. I don't know if it's going to continue. I don't know if there's going to be a volume two because this issue, it says volume one on it, but this book ties it up in a very neat package for the end, but it also could go further. It's written by Sean Lewis, illustrated by Caitlin Yarsky. I like this book a lot, and I highly, highly recommend it because it's inexpensive and it's really fun, really interesting, and beginning, middle, and good ending. Really dug it. That's Coyotes. Don't mix it up with another book, Coyote, which I know nothing about, but this is Coyotes, one volume from Image. Really great. It moves along at a very nice pace. It's got what I like: supernatural, asking women, what else do you need? Werewolves. Boom, you're sold, right? Now, here's another couple of books that are really good from Image. First one's $10, the second one's $15. You can get them cheaper than that probably. And that's Rock Candy Mountain. I'm a member of a Facebook group called the Omnibus. I always have trouble saying it. The Omnibus Collectors Comic Swap and Community. And on there, two guys, Kevin Kropp and Nick Munoz, have been promoting the heck out of this book. And I finally had to say, What's so great about Rock Candy Mountain? I got to read it. Well, it's set in post World War II, and it's got hobo culture. Hobos are guys, for those of you who are younger and don't know what hobos are, they're guys that ride the rails, ride freight trains, pick up work here and there, but pretty much live their life on the rails. And there's a whole culture that goes with it. And the main guy in this, um, it's also got the devil, and hobos, hobo fights, and Big Rock Candy. The Rock Candy Mountain is hobo heaven, and that's what the main guy is looking for, hobo heaven, so he can be reunited with his wife and daughter. Now the art, as you can see, is very cartoony, but that's okay because it really fits with the feeling of this book. Don't get turned off by the art. I mean, it is very cartoony, but it is just right for this book, which has got a little bit of humor, but a lot of drama, a lot of danger. Of course, it does have the devil in it, so and it's got lots of blood and fighting. But um, I really, really loved this book, and I think you will too. Um, he is a guy that has, the protagonist is a guy that has captured the Spear of Destiny from Hitler, and the FBI is after him while he's riding the rails. He makes some friends, he loses some friends, um, but he all he wants is to find the Rock Candy Mountain so he can be reunited with his lost loved ones. But it's 2 volumes, so you know it takes a while to happen, if it happens, because it is a mythical place. But he runs into the king of the hobos. He runs into uh, guys that want to beat him up. They run into an adventure in prison. They have every rail yard has a guy that's in charge to keep the hobos out, and some of those guys can be pretty terrible to the hobos because they don't want them riding the rails. Um, so it can be tough. There we see the devil right there, and the devil has made bargains with several people in this book. Uh, it's based on a song I remember, kind of. I guess it's a bluegrass song. I believe it's called Big Rock Candy Mountain, um, and that's the name of the song. But he's already got his hands on the mythical Spear of Destiny, so who's to say that there's not really a Rock Candy Mountain? Very, very cartoony, but very fun. I mean, lots of fun. As Nick Munoz likes to say, it's got hobo fights, so how bad can it be? But all the excitement usually takes place in and around train yards and trains, and it involves a lot of bloody fights, a lot of supernatural shenanigans, and just stuff that is really fun. As you can see by this book is cartoony and fun and just a great romp. I really, really liked it a lot. Um, I think you guys would like it too. I highly recommend Rock Candy Mountain, and I'm really grateful for the guys that brought it to my attention, Kevin Kropp and Nick Munoz. They promoted the heck out of it, and so will I, because it is a blast and a half. Lots of fun. So that's Big Rock Candy. I'm sorry, I keep calling it Big Rock Candy Mountain. I feel like that's the name of the song. Rock Candy Mountain 1 and 2. And then the final book, number 3, in one of my favorite reads, that's Joyride. I've talked about this before. Probably the last time I talked about it was my end of the year video in 2017. This is the final volume, and while I'm sad that it's over, it has been a great ride. It has a great finish, and I really can't tell you that much because if you read volumes 1 and 2, anything I say about this book is going to be a spoiler. I'm worried about even showing you anything. Uh, this is by Boom Studios. It's $15, so you can find it cheaper online. Um, it involves. I'll just read you the back because that doesn't give it away too much. The crew of the Joyride is fractured. A year has passed since they stared down the void at the far reaches of space. With friends lost, the crew went their separate ways. I already showed you that. With friends lost, the crews went their separate ways and haven't spoken since. They created new lives and identities in hopes of moving on. But things are still bad on Earth with a dictator there in charge of Earth, with the cannon still on the moon and the force field still up to keep the outside world out. And you are left at the end of Volume 2 wondering what happens to all the characters. This book nicely ties it all together, gives you nice information on what all the characters are doing. Did they live? Did they die? Um, I don't really want to show you too much more because to show you anything could be to give it away. I highly recommend Joyride. I guarantee, as a matter of fact, I guarantee Joyride. This is in my top 10 books along with Irredeemable and a few others. No surprise it comes from Boom because Boom puts out some good stuff. Joyride is one of my favorite books ever. Ever, ever, ever. And so I don't want to show you too much because it'll spoil it for the issue. I'm sorry, I always say issue and I mean for the trade. But if you haven't done so yet, please pick up volumes 1 and 2. If you've already picked up volumes 1 and 2, you're going to want to get 3 because this is a great final trade that wraps it up nicely and interestingly, and it pulls no punches, but it's really good. Really good. Totally dig Joyride. I love it. Next, and oh, it looks like last, we have a book that's probably already either been purchased by you or you've probably already heard of it because it's Garth Ennis's return to the Punisher called Punisher Platoon. And it's very thin. It's only, it's 6 books by Garth Ennis and Goran Parlov. The basic story is told by a guy interviewing other guys that were in Frank Castle's platoon over in Vietnam. And he's interviewing them, and so this is a story told in flashbacks that tells not only Frank Castle's story, but it also tells the other side, the Vietnamese side, the North Vietnamese side. It does a really good job of explaining and showing you their motivations, their intentions, and it does a really great job at giving some color to the life of Frank Castle before he became Punisher. It's so good, it's so well written that you're going to need to read it a couple times because it's a lot of it is in military speak at the time. So they're going to be talking in military terms regarding rotation out, weaponry, the enemy, the terrain, the jungle. They're going to be talking in that kind of language. It all makes sense because you pretty much get it after a while. But I did need to read it twice because it was so detailed and so realistic and so kind of real life. As far as a comic book goes, this made me feel like I was in Vietnam. And it shows Frank Castle's leadership traits. Yes, he was a leader. He was a very good leader back in Vietnam. I like this book a lot, and I highly recommend this book too because now this one's from Marvel. It's a little more expensive, $18, but you get 6 issues in there, and you can get it cheaper online. So, or at your local comic book store, whichever you want to go to. Please do business with your local comic book store. I loved this book. It wasn't too technical, but it was just technical enough to be realistic. I dug the art, I dug the writing, and I think you'll dig it too. This is a highly recommended book from me, Punisher the Platoon. I would 100% recommend this book, 100% recommend Joyride, Rock Candy Mountain, and Coyotes. So, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. I love all you guys. I appreciate your comments. Please subscribe. Please hit the like button. And I'll be back again soon with root beer reviews, maybe with some root beer this time. So thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate it.